says I'm live. I don't know. I don't know if this is working. Am I loud or quiet? Can you? Oh, that mutes me apparently. It doesn't look like I'm very loud. I'm generally a rather loud person. Give me 1 second. It says there's 4 people. Do you guys really Oh no. I can hear myself just fine. I don't know. There's like a thing at the bottom that measures how loud like my voice input is. What's up, everybody? This is probably going to have way more viewers than my Twitch channel because no one goes over there, and plus, it's very different content than this channel. Hey, everybody! Wow, okay, this is way more popular than my Twitch channel. All right, Arnaldo. Oh wow, I'm already messing up the first name. Arnaldo Rivera, Red and Blue, Dallas Williams, Lucas the Hedgehog, Luis. Is it Magana or Majana? Red and Blue. How's it going, man? Oh, that is an interesting name with Alberto Ocasio. What's up? I'm doing good. Just I didn't have much of a plan. I thought I'd do this 3 hours ago, and here we are. Hello, Mike. How's it going? Been a while since we did the Need for Speed Heat live stream where we got the a certain car that I haven't posted the video of yet. I still need to post the rest of those stream highlights. First way I pronounced it was right. All right. Well, one of them was going to be right. What's up, the Soup Master? What would be your favorite soup if you're the master of soup? Can a master have an opinion? I feel like if you're the master of soup, you'd be pretty credible. Do I like your profile pic? Well, I can't see it because it's tiny on my screen. What is it a profile pic of? Hello? It's tiny. Dallas Williams, what is it a picture of? It looks like a car. The next Car Topics Explained will probably be next week. I'm going to be working with Sean to talk about the RB26 Mustang from Tokyo Drift because he worked directly with that, helped source the parts for it, and basically helped build it. We can also talk about the Mona Lisa S15. That could be cool. Oh, wow, I actually have to put in some effort to keep track of this. This is weird. Pineapple soup. I've never had. You can make pineapple soup. How do you? Is that just soup with water? What's my opinion on the SR20 DET? I think it is an iconic engine. I don't know enough about it to say whether it's because a lot of people say it's an overrated engine because there's also the KA20. Isn't that the US version that's in the US cars? There's a whole argument about which one is better, and people going, well, the SR20 is JDM. I personally like the SR20. I think it actually sounds pretty good. It's turbocharged, not that bad of an engine. Chicken noodle or ramen for life. Yeah, I concur. 5.9 liter limited Jeep Grand Cherokee. Heather would like your car. She loves Jeeps and she loves Grand Cherokees, and her favorite car, apart from the Mustang, is the Trackhawk. She loves the Trackhawk. I do want to do a Fast and Furious video. The next one will be on the Tokyo Drift Mustang. There are some other ones too. I was thinking about doing a video covering the filming locations of Too Fast, Too Furious. It would require a little bit of information on my part, but I also have Craig Lieberman's phone number, so I could also talk to him about it to verify stuff. So there's that. Yeah, the KA is the USDM engine. I would probably take the SR20 just because I like using JDM stuff. I like the idea of doing that, and also because it requires effort to do the engine swap, and I like things that typically require more effort than it might be worth. So that's just kind of me. I have expensive and difficult to justify tastes. What do I think of the new Supra? I don't... As a Supra, I don't think it's the most successful car in the world, but as a sports car, it is a very successful car. The Fat Man. I'm trash later. Is that Peter Griffin? No, that is Peter Griffin. You see, your guys' icons are so tiny, so I can't really make out what it is. You want that Jeep? The NFS Heat main menu is glitched. I haven't played Need for Speed Heat in a long time because I for some reason I can't be bothered to do any grinds in that game because I tried doing another rep challenge that took me a few hours, and it was ultimately very disappointing because you can't really build up rep by doing police chases the way I'd want it to be. You can only really build up rep by doing races, and you kind of have to avoid the cops. So it's not quite like Most Wanted, where you can build up like bounty by murdering everybody, which is how I like to operate. I like my score to be based on the destruction of life. Roman's Mustang. He had a Mustang. Was that in the 6th movie or something? I'm not as familiar with the later movies, even though I've watched the last Fast and Furious movie I watched in the movie theater was, I believe, the 6th one. I don't think I ever even saw the 7th one. I've already lost track of what's going on in the chat. TSR Cryptic. You've been subbed since last year. Last year was kind of where the channel kind of made itself past 1,000 and 20,000 subscribers, I think. Not that I have any concept of time. Oh, you're playing right now, Lil Man Ike? I just slurred your name. Do you know what happened to Razor's Mustang after Most Wanted? Well, it was present in the last cutscene. So, like where everyone got busted and stuff. So that car probably got impounded. Where it is now, I've got no idea. Nathan Explosion, what's up? You stopped playing it, so you went back to PUBG. I have never given PUBG a try. I'd sooner try it than Fortnite. I know that's kind of a mainstream opinion at this point, but Kev27RS, hello. Nice to see you live. This is the first live ever. Am I going to watch Fast 9? Yeah. I haven't watched the Fate of the Furious completely, and I haven't watched whatever the 7th one was called, the last one that Paul Walker was actually in. I haven't seen that one fully, even though I kind of know what happens. Everyone knows kind of like how it ends, basically, but I've never actually fully viewed it. The most recent movie, why am I struggling to speak, that I've ever actually seen is the 6th one, and I can't remember what that one's called either. There's a new Fast and Furious game incoming. I hope it's better than I expect it to be. I don't know anything about that. TSR Cryptic, here's a question. Do you think Adam LZ is going to get away with his R34 and still drive it till 2024? I don't know. That video I made about Adam LZ, that was meant to be my only contribution to the whole situation. Because ultimately, I don't care about the fate of his car. I wasn't trying to influence what was going to happen. I was just using his name because his name is convenient to educate people, and people who are willing to learn will learn, and people who aren't obviously won't. Whether he will get away with it or not isn't necessarily up to me or even him. It's more up to whether the shop that imported his car gets busted or not. Because if the shop that imported his car gets busted, the feds will track down every car they ever sold, and that includes his car. So if Trap Team, I believe, gets busted, it'll be anyone that ever bought a car from them will get investigated, and anyone with a car that's not federally legal, state title or not, will be in trouble, unfortunately. I don't know where Adam got his other cars from, because I know he has multiple cars that are questionable, and Adam even admitted in a live stream that some of his cars aren't legal, so I'm not the first person to make that observation or statement. Let me go back a bit. I talked about that for a little while. 1995 Chevy Silverado, Choo-Choo Customs 5.7 V8. Man, a lot of older cars really have some big engines. I know that there are still some cars today that come with big engines, but I feel like that's just such a a classic car thing to have something that's bigger than like 6 or 7 liters. Paste picture of Dodge Viper, I know, but Akio Asakura, hi. Do I like Formula One? I don't dislike it. I don't understand enough of the rules to enjoy it. It'd be like me watching oh, I'm being told to order Chinese food. I don't know the rules well enough to enjoy it. It'd be like me watching football, soccer, or cricket and going, "Oh, someone did something. Oh, that guy injured himself. The other team's moving backwards." I don't know why. So with Formula One, it's like I don't know what the rules are with contact or passing, or when you're allowed to warm up your tires and when you aren't, and other things like that. Been a huge fan since you started to upload the Fast and the Furious cars. My dream car is a 1999 Skyline GTR single turbo. I feel like that's a lot of people's dream cars. Even if that's not their number one, people are like, yeah, I can appreciate that. I mean, how can't you? Yeah, I remember. So everyone always talks about how there's a moment in their life when something happens where they remember what they were doing when they found out it happened or when it happened. And so I remember in high school when Paul Walker and his friend died. I remember what class I was in, what I was doing. I remember seeing the picture for the first time, and I can see that so clearly in my head and thinking, oh my God, like now, even if I put in the effort to fly to California and somehow get into some kind of special viewing or just see him on the red carpet, it won't be an opportunity for me to see one of my biggest idols from my childhood. And I don't usually idolize people. So that's always been pretty sad. I know it's kind of a mainstream thing to say rip Paul Walker, but I genuinely wish he was still around because of what he meant to me and everybody and the things he did outside of the film franchise. He did a lot more than just make cool movies. Chinese food is always bomb. Are you kidding? You don't need an excuse to make Chinese food. Chinese feud. You know what? I need to get a translator. I speak English, but I need someone to translate my slurring into actual proper language. That's a sentence. Do people hate the Porsche Carrera GT because Paul Walker died in it? I don't think he would want that. Because he appreciated a lot of cars, and I'm sure he really appreciated that car. I mean, I have my own qualms with Porsche and their motorsport teams and history, and that's related to my own moral stance with what happened with the M3 GTR and stuff. But given that Paul Walker was the sort of person that said, "Don't be sad if I die," because the speed made him. Well, what was his quote? Paul Walker, because I was smiling. I don't know the full quote for some reason. If one day the speed kills me, do not cry because I was smiling. Someone who would say something like that probably wouldn't want us to hate the car he died in. He'd want us to appreciate it and see it as a way of almost, for lack of a better word, just kind of recognizing that he probably died in a car that he respected for good reason. Ow. GT Sport gameplay, like Gran Turismo. I have never played Gran Turismo. Me playing Forza a few years ago was a big deal because I had never played a Forza game in my entire life. Completely different handling models. That was the closest I had ever gotten to a sim racer. The elephant in the room, Jurassic Mark. Just the elephant in the room. Oh, I swear to God, I thought you were talking about Adam LZ. Yeah, I think people just. Yeah, you're right, Kev. If he had died in an R34, there's a good chance a lot of people would have hated it, but a lot of people also just look for a reason to be negative. We just kind of have to discount their opinions because they have little to no value. What are my thoughts on the 1JZ? I think it's legendary. 1JZ, 2JZ. I think they're both legendary engines. The 1JZ is a little more niche, obviously, for obvious reasons. It wasn't quite as popularized. I would say what's interesting is Paul Walker, Akio Asakura, is that he didn't start out as a car guy, but after getting exposed to people like Craig Lieberman, Sean Morris, and just everyone as a result of the franchise, he became a car guy, which is very, very cool. I mean, if you haven't somehow already, his car collection was, however you want to say it, is incredible. Fast and Furious changed when Paul was alive. Bunch of action, racing, but now it's just about a bad guy trying to kill somebody. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for that. Most of it being they recognize what types of movie formulas make money. Life's Compass. Opinion on the second gen Camaro, 6-cylinder. Second gen Camaro. You can't see what I'm searching, but I am searching for the second gen Camaro 6-cylinder. I'm just searching that exactly so I don't mess anything up. We've got a Wikipedia page. Oh, it's this car. Yeah, I like these cars. It's the sort of design language that you just don't see anymore. 6-cylinder, though. The V6 or the inline 6? I've got a 3.8 liter inline 6, 4.1 liter inline 6, 3.8 liter V6. I lost the chat. Oh, here it is. The John Wick Mustang. It's interesting how that car became iconic, especially because I didn't quite realize how big the John Wick movies were until I kind of started to watch them. And I feel like I watched them kind of late. For some reason, I thought those movies were a lot older than they actually are because of how people kind of idolize them. That just goes to show they made a really good movie. You want to get a 240Z as your first car. I don't know how daily driver will... Akio Asakura, you know, I feel like I'm developing a speech impediment. It's not because of you guys. It's just because I am inept. I think it could be a good first car. I'm sure it would be much more affordable than my first car. And I don't know whether it would be reliable compared to my car or not. It might be. But the one benefit you'd have is that the parts would be more common and easier to obtain and thus more economical. What are your thoughts on Firebirds? I think Firebirds are cool. My uncle used to have 2. Now he has 1, and it's in like immaculate condition. He has it registered as a classic car or a vintage vehicle, so he can only drive it 2,500 miles a year or something. It's got like classic car plates and stuff. It's really nice. What was the first car I drove? Well, the first car I ever drove was a Mountaineer SUV back in the day, a long time ago when I was like 15. That was back when I lived overseas, so I had no chance of taking any like driver's ed classes or getting my license because I didn't live in the US. I lived in Europe or Africa or Asia, depending on when we're talking about. So I had to be 18 basically everywhere I was. So I was just driving because I could, because it was more likely for a 15-year-old to be driving a vehicle in the US than anywhere else. And then after that, I eventually got to start taking driver's ed classes when I was 18, when I came back to the US in 2016. Was I 18? I was old enough to drive anywhere, but I got my license in the US. I am interested in making a video about the Pagani Zonda. Unpopular opinion, actually this might not be that unpopular, I haven't checked. I prefer the Zonda to the Huayra by leaps and bounds. Tokyo Drift was all about racing. It was the best. Yeah, a lot. As car guys, Tokyo Drift was probably one of the best films in the franchise. And as a movie, it was the least successful in the sense that it made the least amount of money, which is crazy. Tokyo Drift changed your life. It wasn't because of that movie. I wouldn't be on this live stream right now. I would be playing Minecraft and having no friends. I mean, I've done that as well, and I'm the one hosting this live stream. We all change, I suppose. We all find different focuses. Usually I multitask because I can't function with focusing on one thing. I'm never satisfied. Since Heat is set in Miami, in a Miami-inspired setting, there should be a Too Fast, Too Furious intro. Or Brian. Oh, yeah. That is a pretty legendary intro. They did something similar in Most Wanted with the Lucky Break scene where the character is entering Rockport for the first time. First race. Do you like the Supra back in the Need for Speed franchise? What do you mean? Do I like the Supra, but I'm not sure what that question specifically means. What car do I have? I have a 2015 Supra WRX. It's got a handful of bolt-on mods, not massively modified. Otherwise, I'd be making this video from inside a cardboard box with a much more terrible microphone and slower internet connection. Can't believe that my parents don't know what Polestar is. Well, honestly, I didn't know what Polestar was until I saw the trailer for Need for Speed Heat. All right, Soup Master, see you around. You take care. Do you have an opinion about the 3-liter Dizzle? D-I-Z-Z-E-L. That's a new slang term we're coining today because I can't talk. Inline 3-liter diesel inline 6 engines in BMW E60s, 2007 to 2010. I will be buying a car with this kind of engine, and I'm looking for advice if it's good. I don't know much about BMW diesel engines. What's the engine code for that engine? Do you know? What's your favorite 200SX generation? Ooh. 200SX. Not just like Sylvia in general. That's a good question. It's on 200SX. I can't. I'm glad you didn't see how I spelled that. Clear search history. I mean, I wish I could show you this. I think it's called like the Cookie. It just sounds like I'm saying a weird version of cookie. Is that a 200SX? Because I like the way the Cookie S14 looks. Would that count? Is that a valid answer? Oh, the stream has progressed. What's the greatest supercar? Oh, God. Supercar, not hypercar. If you asked hypercar, I would have said McLaren P1. Supercar. These days, I would argue the Huracan just because of the aftermarket potential. But, oh, man. Or the Murcielago. Even if it's not necessarily the fastest thing in the world. I do agree. I think the main reason why I like the Zonda more than the Huayra is the looks. My voice just cracked. I have a lot of information about the Zonda. If you want with the video, I could help. I'm actually going to talk about the Zonda in a future garage episode. I don't know what information I can't remember because I recorded all the episodes a while ago. My buddy bought a junked Camaro, I think is inline 6 in yellow, 1978, and has been sitting for more than 10 years. He jumped a fence to check the car, and the owner almost called the cops. Well, I'm glad you didn't put his name in the chat. My goodness. I look like Chris Pratt. I'm going to take that as a compliment, to be honest. One person said I looked like, what was his name? Some singer. I can't remember. Never mind. That's a useless thought. I can't think of his name. He bought it for $200. I wish I could have bought my car for $200. I'd have so much money to spare. Will I play the Crew 2? I don't know. I didn't play the first Crew game. I don't know what would because the Crew 2 looks a little grindy, and I don't know how I would get into it. And I play so many games that take up so much time that I feel like the next time you saw me do a video, I'd look like a hermit with pasty white skin, assuming I don't already look like that as it is. NFS Heat does look like it's going to be getting more updates. It does look like it, like something's coming. I don't know what. I remember someone talking about it. But with the whole weird changing of studios and stuff, I don't know how that's going to change things. Cookie is your favorite as well? I just like the look. I wish it could have a different back end. Like the S13 with a Cookie front end, what I think would look a lot better to me than the S14. But the S14 is still cool. M57T02 is the engine code. Yes. And it's a diesel version. Generally, and I'm sure the guys at Top Gear will agree, these inline sixes are typically pretty good engines and are usually the engines to beat. In terms of reliability and stuff, I would say I have no idea. I mean, as long as you know how to take care of a diesel car, you should be fine. And diesel is typically more economical, right? It's not as expensive because I have to deal with 93 gas prices in Illinois, which is great. GTR is the supercar. Is that like your answer to the question? Ferrari F40 of all time. I don't know whether the Ferrari F40 is a supercar or a hypercar, because I feel like at the time it was just another Ferrari, and then it very quickly became like a momentous moment in, I just said that, in automotive history, and it became just one of the pinnacles. It's automatic, and he is restoring the car. He welded the metal of the front bumper and restored the metal on the interior, and he is fixing it day by day. People want to buy the car, but he says no. Yeah, he should. It's a project. He shouldn't sell it. He should stick with it. It's cool to have a project like that. I'd want to have a project like that if I had the time and the money. Granted, he bought his car for $200. I could probably do that as well. But favorite muscle car? I mean, people who know me know that I am a big Mustang fan, specifically the GT350, the newer Mustang. I also like the old fastbacks, the late 60s and 70s, early 70s. Like if you look up classic recreations and some of their builds, I would want something like that. I'd be out like $1 million most likely, but I like those a lot. Oh, I just scrolled. But these days, I'm kind of the 5th gen 2014, 2015 Camaros are really growing on me, especially the Z28. I'm starting to really like those, and I have no idea why. Basically, I'll just give you the sequence of events that even made me look at these cars. So I watched a video of an old Corvette C6R, and I thought, oh man, this sounds good. It sounds dirty. And I looked up the engine, and it said it was powered by an LS7R, which is the racing version of the LS7. So then I Googled LS7R. I searched, not Googled, even though YouTube is a Google platform. I searched LS7R on YouTube, and I got Z06 videos, and I got Z28 videos, and I thought, ooh, these sound good. And then I looked at the prices of the Z28 and went, oh, that's not good. And then I decided to look at the Camaro SS and then the LSX 454, which is a 7.4 liter V8, and thought, ooh, okay, maybe we can come to some kind of arrangement. But when it comes to $40,000, I'd probably spend my money somewhere else. You could almost get an R34 GTR with that kind of money. You're not far off in the grand scheme of things. Timberlake. No, that's not the singer. But yeah, that's another one. Who did he? Ah, where am I? Mercedes CLK GTR. If it is a supercar, I love the CLK GTR. That thing is a work of art. If I had controversial, if I had a McLaren F1 LM and a Ferrari F40 Competizione, I think that's what it was, and a CLK GTR road car in front of me, especially if it was the Hypersport, out of all three of those, I would still take the Mercedes. Even though I love McLaren and the Ferrari, I would still take the Mercedes. Especially because the Hypersport has a Zonda engine in it. I mean, come on. We've just been talking about how the Zonda is awesome. A little video of sound clips of the WRX with the Grady Type S. Yeah, I could do that. I could just do a video of just the sounds, kind of like how Matt Farah of the Smoking Tire kind of does that with videos he drives, cars he drives, videos he drives. I know a lot of owners of Zondas. I used to work at a Pagani dealer. Not all information online is true. You don't need to show me anything to convince me that that's true. Given what I do, you used to work at a Pagani dealer, though. That's cool. I'd like to work at a car dealer if I had the time. But no one says I have the time, and it drives me nuts. Gran Turismo Sport. If you guys ask for it, I'll play it. I'd have to figure out where I'm supposed to buy it from, and hopefully it would run on my computer. Do I still buy Hot Wheels? You can't see what I'm looking at, but the answer is basically yes. Where even is it? I don't necessarily collect them as much. Oh, goodness. But I do have... Oh, I'm going to topple everything on my desk. I have this stuff. And I do have another thing of Hot Wheels cars as well. So I'm sure you can appreciate these. You wonder why we play as Joe in Heat? He's just some kind of filler character, I guess, to tell the story. I don't know. Am I the only one that felt bad for Joe? Am I the only one that thought Anna was kind of a female dog throughout the entire game? I just thought she was really annoying and full of herself. Excuse me. Hello, Connor. LHW 2004. The 570S. I love all modern McLarens. I think they're all pretty badass. Check Scotty if the inline 6 is reliable. I don't think so, since it's not a 94 Celica. Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Very nice car. That's another iconic car. I need to put these back. I am just going to be sitting here holding them. Oh, goodness. And we'll keep Brian's Skyline down here. If you wanted to make a full-blown car for the track, for you, only what car would you use and why? I would take any example of an E46 M3, gut the whole thing, get an engine out of an E92 M3, put a whole bunch of forged crap into it, use parts from a Gintani twin turbo kit and attach that to a Hollinger Racing sequential transmission, and essentially turn it into an M3 GTR on steroids. It would basically be a go-kart. It'd be light, but have so much more horsepower. It would have, with the Gintani turbo kit and forged internals, you can go as high as 800 and 900 wheel horsepower. And in a car that's 2,700 pounds, that's more than enough for just about anything. I don't think there are unequal length headers for the WRX. I'd have to get something custom fabricated, and that's where a lot of the money would be. You would take the Ferrari F50 over the Ferrari F40. Okay. No, I respect that. The Ferrari F50 is actually the car I grew up with before I was even exposed to the F40. What? Oh, I bought those at Walmart, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know why they had them. You've got over 200 Hot Wheels? Yeah, that's probably my case too. I don't even know where my Hot Wheels cars are. I costed my parents a lot of money when it came to Hot Wheels. Time o'clock there, it's 6:32 p.m. here. The dealer was SPS Hong Kong. They currently look at over 12 Zondas for clients. SPS also modified a CLK GTR with an exhaust. A modified CLK GTR. That's something I would just love to see and hear, obviously. Ferrari F40 was the last car Enzo ever worked on. Greatest car ever, I think. I'm so heard about the Mark V Supra, the new BMW, greatest American car. The GTO 1966. You should look at the R32 Skyline N1. I have looked at those before. N1 cars are interesting. People kind of forget about those. They always talk about the NER specs and the V specs and M specs and stuff. But the N1s are also worth talking about. They're pretty rare. The funny thing about the rare Skylines and stuff is that the only reason why they're not on the show or display approved list for the exemption is just because no one has said, I have one of these in factory condition and I'd like to bring it in under show and display. They'd most likely get approved, but you have to tell them what you have. Ferrari F40. Could you imagine putting a Skyline engine in a Mustang? Yeah. I mean, it happened in a movie, and they actually did it. Would I do it, though? Probably not. I mean, it's a quirky engine swap, and I respect all cool engine swaps, but I don't know if I would do it. How can I defend myself when people say I'm not a true car fan? You like the RX-7, the Z, and old Porsche cars, and people don't say I'm because I don't like all cars. Well, no one likes all cars. I mean, people... Like, I have a very diverse taste in cars, but I wouldn't say I like all cars, because then that would imply that I like the Toyota Prius. I'm never going to admit to saying that. I'm never going to say that willingly, even with a gun to my head. I'd be like, just pull the trigger. One car I'd love to see return to NFS is the 4th-gen Camaro Z28, specifically the 1993 to 1997 LT1 powered Z28. Yeah, it would be cool to see some more classic Camaros, because a lot of people, because what do they have in the game right now? Do they have the 67 or 69 classic Camaro? One of my dream ideas is to make a replica of the E46 M3 GTR. Well, stay tuned. Eventually, I'm going to do that. It's just expensive. And I'm like also juggling between modifying the WRX and finding the right car for the M3 project, and also keeping track of who's going to help me build it. But yeah, that's definitely something I want to do and I'm going to do. In Finland, it's 2:32, probably now 6:35. Hello, Tom. Opinion of a 2002 1.8 liter Suzuki Esteem. I would have to Google that. 1.8 liter Suzuki Esteem. That sounds like... Hello? Okay, hello. I've got like 30 people watching. What are you showing me?
My stuff my group sent me.
Oh.
That St. Louis Bless group. I got this from Lindsay. She hopes it brightens my day and it brings a smile to my face. Then this one was from Katie at my job. And she's like, can't wait to meet your beautiful little girl, Heather. I hope